Hi everyone, it's PhD Sim here and welcome back to my rotational gameplay update video. I've done 3 of these in the past. I'm now on the 4th one because I've completed round 4 of my rotation and I'm actually getting quite far through round 5 as we speak. So if you haven't seen this before, this is a rotational gameplay where I play all of the households that are present in the game in Willow Creek and Oasis Springs, plus the sprinkling of my own households. And we just rotate around each household and we watch the town grow, and there's so much, it's like a soap. There's so many interacting families, there's so much drama going on, there's affairs all over the place, there's been deaths, there's been everything. It's been alien abductions, you name it, it's happened. It's been so much fun. I think so anyway. Okay, so the first household is the BFFs, which I'm going to have to rename at some point because they're not the BFFs anymore. There's been some drama. So we start off with Liberty getting a little kitten. Her and Travis are together, but they've had a little drama in the past because Travis actually slept with Summer and Liberty is really obviously hurt by that. So she decides, her and Travis are like, will they, won't they get back together? She's kind of finished with him, but he's sort of hopeful they'll get back together. Liberty decides to do a little bit of a revenge thing on Travis and Summer and sleeps with Summer's boyfriend Jay, which is not great. I don't think Jay or Liberty are compatible really, but yeah, they hook up and I think Liberty's doing it purely to get back at Summer and Travis, which is really not good. This whole household is toxic. But they do end up getting back together. Travis is like, okay, I cheated on you, you cheated on me, can we just call it quits and start again? And they do, which is a bit like, I'm not sure I would do that. No, I don't think I would, definitely not. So they actually get back together and they actually get some really positive words from the love guru, which they take extremely seriously. To such an extent that they start to get married at the romance festival. Well, they get engaged first and then they get married, which again, probably not the best of ideas. And actually they're expecting their first baby together. I just don't know how this relationship is going to go. Travis is not even that sure he wants a kid, and you'll see later that he's a bit of a dirtbag in this rotation. He's not a good egg, I have to say. So that's the end of the BFFs for this round. We'll see what happens with them. Will they stick together? I'm doubtful. I think Travis is going to cheat a lot. Then we have the Basu family. I absolutely love the Basu family. They are quite wholesome. The only drama they had, which was not that too bad, Saeed was a widow and he had a child called Mira, and then he married Zoe Patel, and Amira did not like the new stepmom in the house, did not like that. But as she's got older, she started to get a bit closer to Zoe, so that tension's starting to resolve. That was the only real drama in this household. The only other thing is they're quite poor. They're really struggling a little bit. Saeed's a food critic and he's doing okay, but he's trying to write some books on the side, but unfortunately he does not enjoy writing very much, so he finds it quite stressful. And Zoe is just doing retail, like a part-time retail job, because they do have another kid together who she's trying to raise as well as look after Mira. And Zoe does want to go to university at some point, but she's getting older and she doesn't think she can, but I think she should. I really, really want Zoe to get her degree. Anyway, so Mira aged up to a teen at the end of the last round, and she and 2 of the other girls in the neighbourhood who have aged up to teens are like the trio. They are close as they're like sisters. They're all so close. So it's Olivia, Spencer Kim, Lewis, Jenny Miller, and Mira Basu. They're like a trio, a tight-knit group of friends, and they go through high school together, which is super fun to play. I did install a high school in Willow, in Oasis Springs, because I wanted a high school. I didn't want them to go off to Copperdale for high school, basically. So Mira does really well at school. She's quite smart and she actually is very social. She's quite popular. She starts to date Sydney, who's really also very popular. So they're like a bit of a power couple at school. And things go really well. I mean, her dad gets a little bit not sure about the situation, but even he warms up to Sydney in the end. And Mira's friends are a little bit unsure about him as well, but they all find Sydney's pretty good egg. Sydney's like, Mira goes a little bit off the rails a bit. She starts smoking and stuff. Sydney really tries to stop her because Sydney's very much like, I want to be an athlete when I get older, and you've got to look after your body's your temple. And he tries to like stop Mira from smoking and things like that, but she's just I don't know, acting out in her teen years. I think she'll calm down. She'll be all right. But yeah, they make quite a cute couple. And that pretty much is what's going on with that household. They're really trying to scrape together some money, which is a bit difficult, but they'll get there in the end. I'm sure they will. And the three girls go off to prom together because Sydney thinks prom is stupid and a bit boring. So Mira gets quite upset that he doesn't go with her. And but she goes with her best friends and they have a great night at prom. And I think Mira gets crowned prom jester, which is really fun. I loved playing those three girls going to prom together. It was so fun. Now we head over to the Pancake household. This is a bit of a hot mess household. So Bob and Eliza's marriage has been extremely strained over the last 3 rounds. They virtually don't really spend much time together. They have the odd woohoo every now and again, but it's very cold and nothing's really sparking the marriage. They're basically co-parenting in the same household. But Eliza's eyes do start to stray and she actually sleeps with Jack Cooper after she goes on a night out with some of her friends. And yeah, the whole thing with Bob is like they're virtually separated but living in the same house. They're still technically married, but she still cheated. He does eventually catch Eliza cheating on him, which is pretty tough, and they end up getting divorced. Bob and Eliza finally put the nail in the coffin of their relationship and they get divorced. And Eliza actually finds out she's pregnant with Jack's baby, which, that's a bit of a kick in the face to Bob. And not only was she having an affair, now she's having a kid with the person she cheated with. And Eliza's reputation takes a tanking because Jack's ex-wife finds out about it, and Jack's current girlfriend finds out about it. So Eliza eventually gives birth to twins, a second set of twins, as I said, and it's a boy and a girl. She names them Adam and Allison. And Jack moves in. I'm not convinced about this relationship. Jack is already a divorcee with 2 kids. He doesn't really, he tries. He's in the entertainer career, wants to be a musician. He's doing all right, but he's not doing great. And I think Eliza's going to be in the same boat she was before. So we'll see what happens with these two. We end the pancakes round with Eliza's birthday. So we'll see what happens to them in the next one. The next house we go to was called the Millers. I'm now calling them the Richards. You'll see why at the end of this section. So Jenny aged up to a teen and she joins the cheerleading. About this time in the rotation when I was playing it is when the high school pack came out. So I was really, really into the high school pack at this point, as you'll probably guess as we go through. So yeah, she joins high school and she continues hanging out with her friends. She's one of those that trio of friends that I mentioned. Her brother also ages up to a teen. And then Zara's son from her second marriage, Leo, ages up to a toddler. And generally I just played through the high school pack and had a lot of fun with it. I was playing like the after school activity. Tommy was in football and Jenny was in the cheerleading, as I said. And Zara and Gavin actually get pregnant with their second baby, and that's Zara's 4th child overall. And finally, Zara's dreams of owning an art gallery come to fruition. She has worked so hard. She was in the salary person career, which she absolutely hated. She was really just clocking in, clocking out, getting that paycheck. And she is a level 10 painter, and she's just dreamed of owning her own gallery for so long. And she finally does. And it was a struggle at first, but on one day, I made like 8,000 simoleons from her selling her paintings. So it was so fun. I don't think the Sims 4 businesses are as well executed as the Sims 2 are, so I'm hoping that if they ever update the businesses, that'll be great, or if some mods come out and things. But yeah, she actually starts running her own art gallery, which is her dream, and I'm so proud. Zara finally has her baby, and it's another boy, and they name him Tyler. And I think Zara's art business is just a general success. She invites a lot of the other artsy type Sims from around the neighbourhood. And they all sort of, praise her technique and praise her. And she does super well. Her paintings just start flowing off the shelves, which is awesome. Mira and Tommy start to get a bit close, but Mira is dating Sydney. So Tommy's had a crush on Mira, who's his older sister's friend, like one of his older sister's best friends. He's had a crush on her since he was a little boy. He thinks she's the most beautiful girl in the world. Absolutely, he has always had a crush on her. And now they're both teens in high school. He's a couple of years younger, but they're both teens in high school, and they start to spend more and more time together as Tommy and Sydney get friends. And yeah, his affections towards Amira have never died. And eventually Mira reciprocates, and they actually they share a kiss, and Sydney does not know about this, but they do share a kiss. And Jenny's doing super well in her cheerleading. And then finally wedding day comes for Zara and Gavin, and from this point on I rename this household the Richards because 4 out of the 6 Sims that live there are Richards. So I renamed them the Richard family just for like my tracking purposes and stuff. But I love this couple so much, and Zara makes such a beautiful bride, and Gavin's so handsome as well. Yeah, so this is them and getting married, which is super adorable. I absolutely love this little beach wedding they had. And another prom rolls round and Sydney again is like, nah, don't worry, I'm not bothered about that. It's just boring. It's not cool to go to prom. And Mira has dreamt of being prom queen and going to prom with her date, and she just loves it. She just loves the whole high school experience, and prom is just like the icing on the cake for her. So Tommy's like, I'll take you. We'll just go as friends. Oh, come on, Tommy, you're not going as friends. You all know it. So they have a dance and they have a lovely evening together. And I think Mira starts to catch the feels. And Tommy's always had the feels, but she starts to catch the feels. And Jenny's like, I know what's going on between you and my brother. Mira's just like, no, you don't. Avoids the conversation. Tommy gets crowned prom king, which obviously amazing. And then he and Mira continue to dance the night away and get closer and closer. And Sydney rocks up for the last hour of prom, wanting to make it up to Mira. Thinks, if it's important to you, it's important to me, I'll turn up. And he catches them together in the photo booth, shall we say. And Sydney finds out. And he and Tommy end up having a massive fight. He's like, you are my friend. You've just got together with my girlfriend. What the hell? And they have a massive fight. And Jenny's like, girl, you have got yourself into some trouble. Mira's like, oh, how can I pick between these two? I don't think you can have a choice. I don't think Sydney wants to be with you anymore. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, Tommy's pretty much thinks he's got the girl of his dreams, and we'll see what happens. The next household is the Goths. So Cassandra in the last round was at university. She graduated and moved back home, so she's now moved back into the Goth family with her fiance, and she joins the entertainment career. And Alex is a teen, and he really loves doing robotics. He loves doing programming. He's really into all of that. And he's about to start high school himself. And then Bella and Morty had another kid in the last round. They had a baby who's now aged up to a toddler. Her name is Ariana, and she's so cute. And Alex has a bit of a tough experience at school. He doesn't make too many friends. He's not like bullied or anything, but he does struggle a little bit to make friends. He gets on with Olivia because Olivia and him play chess and they're in the same sort of club. And he gets on with her. She's a bit older than him. And he starts to think that he's got a crush on her. And Olivia's like, I wasn't the age you knew, we were just friends. And I'll show you what happens after that. But Cass and her fiance are expecting their first child together. The Goth household at this point is getting so full. By round 5, I moved them out because it's really, I think when the baby's born, that's the 8th sim in the household. Yeah, so Cass is pregnant, which I'm super excited about. And I think Morty and Bella are excited to become grandparents for the first time. Yeah, Bella just can't wait to be a grandma. Bella's still quite young. She's still in her young adult years. So it's quite interesting that Cass has already grown up, graduated uni, and is having her own baby. Yeah, so Cass gives birth to a baby girl that she names Cordelia. And Ariana also ages up to a child. And Cass, she just makes such a lovely mum. She's so good. But as I said, Alex does go to prom with Savannah just as friends, but he has a really nice night. And I'm so glad he got to go to prom because he was thinking about skipping it. And I'm so glad that she sent out a little olive branch to him. And yeah, they're going to be friends. And then we move on to the Calientes, who are actually living in the Spencer Kim's house because in the previous rounds, Dina married Dennis Kim for his money and then woohooed him to death, took all of his money and his property, and then kicked out the Kim Lewises. So Dina has moved her mum and into her house, and she has a daughter of her own, and her mum has just had a daughter as well. So there's 4 Calientes living in this house, and yeah, they are just loving their life. They're rich, they're enjoying the pool. It's a 3-story big mansion, and they are freaking enjoying themselves for sure. Yeah, so Katrina has a daughter called Tina, who's actually Don's daughter. Don has had no involvement so far whatsoever in Tina's life. When he is invited over, however, a fire breaks out and Don dies. And so I was so shocked at this point because I really although Don is a dirtbag, he's sleeping with half the town, he's fun to play, I have to say, he's quite fun. But yeah, he drops dead and I was like, oh my god, Don dies. Don dies in a fire in Dina's house. Ugh. Katrina adopts their little kitty cat, and Dina is pretty upset over Don's death. Like, she has always had a little candle for Don. She knows full well what he's like, but she's always had a little candle for him. Candle? Do I mean that? I don't know what I mean. Don already slept with all 3 Caliente women. Dina, don't go there again. He's a ghost anyway now, so... yeah, so as I said, Dina has her own daughter called Georgina. I'm trying to give all of the Calientes Ina names, so if you've got any Ina ending names, please drop them down below, because I just think that's funny. All of the Calientes. We've obviously got Katrina, Dina and Nina, and now we have Georgina, Tina and Christina. It doesn't get confusing at all. Katrina's had it pretty rough recently. She was seeing Don and absolutely was in love with him. She didn't know at this point that he was seeing both her daughters. And she actually popped the question and tried to get engaged to Don in the last round, and he rejected her. And she pretty much had her heart broken. She's really sweet, Katrina, and it's not her fault that she didn't know. So she tries online dating. She's getting a little bit older. She's nearly she's not far off being an elder. She wants to find a soulmate. So she goes online dating, and she actually meets Darren Dreamer. And I was not considering this pairing whatsoever, but they get on really, really well. They had a lot of chemistry. Darren's a little bit younger than her, but they're both adults, and they get on really, really well. So yeah, they have like a few dates and end up getting super, super, super close. So she might have found her Mr. Right, we don't know. Another fire breaks out in the household, and I think the maid or the butler at this point dies. So that's 2 deaths by 2 fires in this house. I swear this house is jinxed because Dina basically woohooed Dennis to death to take the house. And married him for his money. I think the house is cursed. I think Dennis is doing this from the grave. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird. And then at the end of the round, both Georgina and Tina age up, and yeah, they're kids now. And then we move on to the Kim Lewises. So as I said, they got kicked out of their house by Dina, who inherited everything when Dennis died. And they now have to go back to like humble beginnings. They have a starter home they've had to move into in Willow Creek because they had very little money to their name. But they're a really close-knit family, and they're not going to let this get in the way of them. Olivia's really worried because Olivia's just aged up to a young adult at this point, and she wants to go to university, but she's really worried about the fees and the costs because her family are literally just been knocked from very high standings, lots of money, big mansion down to the bottom. And so she's really, really worried. But her dad is working really, really hard in his career, so is her mum. And they're like, no, girl, you're going to uni. Don't you worry about it. It's going to happen. We'll find a way. So Olivia she always was into online gaming, but she starts streaming a bit more and more regularly to get a little bit of income in for her family to help them out. And they're just like making the best of the best. They're starting to like decorate the place. It's very, very basic when they first move in, but they're starting to like put their personal touches to it. And they're like, money's not everything. We're all here together and we're happy and it's going to be fine. And obviously they're still trying to fight, like behind the scenes, trying to fight Dina and get the money back and get the house back. But, you know, Dennis left it all in his will to his wife. So they meet the neighbours and they get to know all the people in their new neighbourhood in Willow Creek. And yeah, they become quite good friends with Travis and Liberty in particular, who live next door, who are very, very kind and help them out with like spare furniture and things like this to keep their house furnished. So Lily, their youngest daughter, ages up, and Olivia starts to get a bit too friendly with Travis from next door, who is older than her. They're both young adults, but he's nearly an adult and she's only just becoming a young adult, so it's a bit ick. Definitely ick. And yeah, they actually start seeing each other, and Olivia knows that he's married and that he is expecting. She knows his wife because it's a family friend. But she thinks she's in love with this older man, and poor girl. This is her first actual romance as well. It's kind of, I don't like it. But yeah, those two get together. Oh my god, there's now thunder outside. Yeah, so they get together, and Olivia knows full well what she's doing, and she should be doing it, but I think Travis has got a bit of a spell on her as well. He's been really kind to her family, and she just thinks he's like number one and completely besotted with him. No, he's a dirtbag. He's horrible. 3-4 days into her young adult years, about to go off to uni, and she's pregnant. And she's thinking, crap, because their family has got no money, barely able to scrape a penny together at this stage. She wants to go to university, as I said. The dorms are not going to let her be there if she's going to have a baby with her, so she doesn't know what to do. She also, her best friends, Mira and Jenny, are going off to university. She wants to go and live in Rochester. She could study online from home, but she really, really wants to go and be there with her friends, and she doesn't know what to do, basically, and she keeps it a secret. So yeah, she struggles with this pregnancy, keeps it an absolute secret, doesn't tell anybody, and at least for the first few weeks, until she starts opening up. But it's not fun for her. She has a real rough pregnancy. Eventually she does tell Travis, who and then as soon as she tells him, he turns nasty, and he's like, no, it's not mine. And she's like, well, I've only ever been with you, you're my only like romantic partner I've ever had. And he's just like, no, it's not mine. I don't want a kid, don't want kids. It's like, your wife is pregnant, Travis. Oh, he's such a dirtbag. So Olivia's like, what do you mean it's not yours? Of course it's yours. And he's just like, nah. And Olivia just is like, well, okay, fine. I'm going to raise this baby on my own. Screw you. Don't want you involved. Bye-bye. And then she tells her friends, because her friends start to be like, something's going on with you. Obviously, they're concerned for her and they want to help her out and they're worried about her, but ultimately they're really like supportive of her. So she does, after a while, pluck up the courage to tell her parents, who do not react in the best way possible. They're just like, ultimate reaction is, what? We didn't even know you were seeing anyone. What the hell? Like, what? So she doesn't get a very good reaction from her parents in the first instance, which is pretty sad. Alice starts to come around a bit before Eric does. Eric takes a little bit of a while to come around, I have to say. Olivia's been having a really tough time and really finding things difficult, especially because Travis is breathing down her neck. Travis wants her to have an abortion and she's like, nope. One evening she spends a little bit too much time with Tommy and she actually ends up kissing him, and he rejects her and is like, no, I'm in love with Mira. And she feels really bad about it because she doesn't actually want to be with Tommy. She just wants some comfort, and he's really nice to her. And so she takes that as something a little bit more, and she kisses him and he rejects her straight away, and she's just mortified, absolutely mortified. So Olivia's super upset and doesn't know what to do. She's kissed her best friend's boyfriend. She's got pregnant by her next door neighbour who's married and expecting his own kid, who wants nothing to do with her kids, who's pressuring her to have an abortion. Her parents are not very happy about her having a kid. She wants to go to uni. Her parents they're too poor. She's got no job. It's just an absolute nightmare. She's having a real bad time at the moment. Meanwhile, her little sister's just like playing with her toys, happy dappy, like no drama, doesn't even know what's going on. Olivia eventually gives birth right at the end of the summer. Birth to a baby, a boy who she names Todd. And she does tell Travis about the birth, and Travis does come over. That was quite shocking. Travis comes over to meet his son. He actually turns up, which is quite shocking. But Eric walks in early from work, sees Travis, sees Olivia, sees the baby, clocks straight away what's going on here, and he beats the crap out of Travis. Absolutely beats the crap out of him. And he's like, yeah, you got my daughter pregnant. I'm like, you're lucky you're not dead, mate. And he's out. He's gone. And then Eric finally is like, starts to bond with his grandson. And that's quite a nice moment. And he's like supportive of his daughter, and he's like, right, I've applied for a loan. I've got I've applied for a loan to cover your tuition fees. We've got you a place to stay in Brightchester. You're going to go and live in Brightchester with Todd and start uni. And yeah, that's where the round ends for the Spencer Kim Lewises. What a drama. Oh my gosh. Speaking of drama, we now have the land grab. So, in the previous round, Jeffrey was having an affair with the butler. He got the butler pregnant. Then he fired the butler, and the butler was like, no, unless you help me out, because I've got no job, no home, no money. Because obviously, as a butler, she was living in the house. Her name's Josie, by the way. So Josie was like, unless you help me out, I'm telling Nancy. Like, I don't want to ruin your marriage. I don't want to get in between you and Nancy. I don't want you, really. Like, but you need to help me out because I've got your kid now. So Jeffrey bought her a house, and she was raising Theo, their son, until it came a bit too much for her. And one day she just ditches Theo on Jeffrey's doorstep, sends him a message to say, you can look after him, he'll have a better life with you. And she just ghosts. So Jeffrey's son just appears on the doorstep, and Nancy realises, obviously this means he's had an affair. And Nancy and Jeffrey, in my version of them, they're together for their money. They're like a power couple. They're there because they suit each other in terms of like what they want out of life. And their two families have come together and brought a lot of money together and wealth. And she's married into this family not just for love. She does like Jeffrey and does love him in her own way. But she's like, the affair isn't the end for her. She's like, well, it was going to happen. And I don't want to give up my lifestyle, so I'm not going to say anything about it. And it's pretty sad. I want Nancy to slap him. So yeah, Nancy just puts up with it because she doesn't want to lose the mansion, the money, the cars, everything. And so she's just like, great, now I've got to raise the son of my husband's affair. Josephine ages up to a teen. Josephine is their third child. They obviously have Johnny Zest, who's kind of like estranged from them. Johnny Zest is his stage name. He actually is Jonathan Landgrab. Then they have Malcolm, who has moved back in with his fiancée from university. Malcolm is engaged to Luna Villarreal. And they had Josephine in a few rounds ago, and she's now a teen. And Josephine, I love her. She's super confident. She's like, she just takes that high school by storm from day one. She turns up on day one of high school and she's like, she just takes it. Yeah, she's like, by the end of the day, she's like the most popular, the most desired, the best student, the most athletic. She's just like number one. And I love her confidence. And she straight away takes a fancy to Tommy. Tommy's a little bit older, like 1 or 2 years older than her. And they actually have known each other since they were children. Not like super well, but they have hung out as children. And she's like, whoa, Tommy, I like the look of you. Tommy's obviously seeing Mira, who's about to go off to university. And he's like, he is attracted to Josephine, but he's like, no, I am in love with Mira. And Josephine's like, okay, well, when you're not in love with Mira, maybe give me a text. Malcolm is about to get married to Luna and he wants his brother Johnny to be his best man. These two are super, super close. Now, I changed Malcolm's traits so he's not evil, and I really like Malcolm. He's so good compared to his parents, who are just so bad. Him and Luna are a cute couple and they're engaged and they're about to get married, and he asks his brother to be his best man. Johnny is really estranged from his father and his mother. He actually blackmailed his father at one point. If you check out round 3, you'll find out about how he blackmailed his dad. And Jeffrey is absolutely furious. He's like, no, you can't be the best man. You're not even invited to the wedding. And Malcolm's just like, it's my wedding. I invite my brother if I want to. Yeah, so in preparation for the wedding, Malcolm and Luna head out and they hang out with Josephine and Johnny and Nina, and they just have a nice night out at the bowling alley playing games and stuff. And Josephine brings her new boyfriend, Dustin Broke, who she started seeing. So she got rejected by Tommy. She's kind of found a bit of a lookalike. It's really bad, but Dustin's quite new to the area and Josephine takes him under his wing and they start dating. And Jeffrey takes his fourth attempt at fatherhood very seriously. Yeah, this is his 4th child. He takes it very seriously, and despite being nearly an elder, he's really good to Theo, actually. He's a really good dad to Theo, bless him. Theo's now a toddler, by the way. Yeah, and Malcolm and his brother keep on hanging out, and obviously Luna and Nina end up becoming friends because they're going to be sister-in-laws soon, so they start becoming quite friendly. And wedding day is approaching, so Nancy treats all the girls who are going to be bridesmaids and out to a day at the spa. They get some they get some retail therapy. That's not the word. They get some like massages. They get their nails done. They do some yoga. They just have a really nice time at the spa and prep for the wedding that's coming up in a few days. And Tommy and Josephine eventually share a kiss. He's still seeing Mira. Mira's like packing and get ready to go off to university, and she's so busy with that whole aspect of her life. She's kind of like not really seeing Tommy as much, and he starts to get a bit fed up and he starts hanging out with Josephine a bit more, and they eventually kiss. And she's still dating Dustin, by the way, so she's gonna have to make her mind up and he's gonna have to make his mind up. So Nancy and Jeffrey are still really upset that Johnny and Nina are coming to the wedding. They really don't want them to be there, and he's just like, I'm coming to the wedding. Like, and Nina, she backs up her man, which I love. And the wedding day arrives and they have a lovely, lovely church wedding. It's absolutely stunning. Luna is a beautiful bride, and yeah, they just have a really nice time. And Josephine decides to bring Dustin to the wedding, and they have a super nice time as well. Lots of dancing, lots of drinks, champagnes, toasts, speeches, a great day. And even Nancy and Jeffrey put on their best faces. No problems in their marriage at all, of course, and smiles all round. The wedding ends and Josephine actually hooks up with Tommy at the fun fair. He like texts her and is like, oh, I can't stop thinking about you. Do you want to meet up? And she's like, abso-freaking-lutely. Let me just drop Dustin back at home and I'll see you at the fairground. House 9 in this rotation is the other Landgrab household, which features Johnny, Nina, and their daughter Christina. I'm gonna get these names mixed up. Nina is into DJing. She does play DJ sets at the Blue Velvet and the Solar Flare from there time to time, gets some extra cash, and their daughter's just taken up violin, much to their upset. She's not very good. They've just recently moved into their own home that Johnny got via blackmailing his dad. It just sounds ridiculous, but it literally is what happened. So they have a little housewarming party. They do not invite Johnny's parents, of course. And yeah, they're just super happy to own their own home at long last. And as I said, Nina's into DJing and Johnny's into all sorts of things. He's in the entertainment career, so he likes doing comedy and things like that. But he's also into programming and gaming and things like that. So they have a really nice time at Geek Con together. And he just continues in his career. He's doing quite well. I think he's level 6 now. Yeah, and they try for baby number 2. Their daughter is grown up to a child and they decide they want to try for baby number 2. So they do that after a nice date, going out bowling. And yeah, they're pregnant, which is exciting. So their second child is on the way. And they were engaged in the last round. So they get married and they have a wedding in Solani. And their daughter is their bridesmaid. And it's so nice. It's a lovely, lovely wedding. A lovely beach wedding and a perfect sunny day. It was absolutely brill. Loved it. And of course, Jeffrey and Nancy were not invited. And at the end of the round, Nina goes into labour and we'll find out what she has in the next round. And then we have Don Lothario's household. Don is a ghost raising his 2 twin alien babies that he got through an alien pregnancy. Again, that all happened in the last round. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. So Don is still carrying on with woohooing all the ladies of the town. I think he's had pretty much everyone at this point. And he's trying to raise twin alien babies on his own. Yeah, and as I said, Jack and Eliza are getting super, super close. And by the end of this round, he's moved out and moved in with her. So he gets engaged to Eliza. Jack has already got 2 children by his first marriage to Zara, which is Jenny and Tommy. And so he introduces them to Eliza. And obviously Eliza's just given birth to twins, which are his children. So he's got 4 kids now. And so he proposes to Eliza and she says yes. I don't know how long that marriage is going to last. I'm not convinced. And as I said, Don's just trying to romance every lady he got his eye on, including Jack's daughter, Jenny. Now that's not a good idea, Don. She's like, 1, you're too old for me. 2, I'm gay. 3, you're my dad's best friend. And you're a creep. So no. Rejected. And Don's toddlers age up into children. And Don's he's not a bad dad. To be honest, I think he prioritises his romantic endeavours above his children sometimes, but he's not a bad dad. He does look after them pretty good. And then we move on to the Roomy household. So this used to consist of Gavin, who now moved out and married Zara. Jay Huntington is still there. Mitchell Kalani is still there. And Zoe Patel used to live here, but she's moved out and married to Saeed. So it's just Jay and Mitchell and their partners and children that live here now. And yeah, they're both got kids and they're trying to raise them and they're doing pretty well. They're pretty good dads, actually. Mitchell's still into his gardening and his chickens, and he always tries to give time to his animals and his pets. And Jay proposes to Summer, who accepts, but she's still always had a little thing in her heart for Travis. I don't know if she's gonna make the best wife for Jay. But they're really compatible in terms of their interests and things like that. But she's cheated a couple of times, and I feel like he can do better. But yeah, they are super compatible in their own way. And yeah, there's 3 kids in this household. Mitchell and his wife Lucia's daughter Kaylee, and then Jay and Summer have 2 boys, Edward and Louis. One of Mitchell's aspiration, it was to get a gold star dinner party. So his wife Lucia is very much helps him in that, and she supports him in all of his endeavours. And they end up having a really nice dinner party. I love Lucia as his wife. She's so supportive and adorable. I love her. And as anticipated, Travis being the dirtbag he is, Summer being the dirtbag she is, they end up hooking up once again, both of them cheating on their partners for like the 3rd time. And yeah, sparks fly between them when they accidentally bump into each other on a night out of the Blue Velvet, and they end up booking a hotel together, and they're not seen till the next morning. I feel so bad for Jay and Liberty, who don't know at this point. Yeah, Jay's just at home looking after the kids, has no idea, thinks his fiance's having a nice night out partying with her friends, doesn't realise that she's hooking up with Travis. And at the end of the round, the toddlers age up. See those as children in the next round. So that was the end of the original set of families I played, but I added in 3 new households at this point just to keep the town diverse and mixing, because people were starting to like, you know, marry off and things like that. So I added in Brandy Broke, who I made in Create Sim, and I added in Brandy. Obviously, we've seen her son Dustin around, and then she has Bo, who is a toddler, I think, and then she's pregnant at this point with who is going to be Bobby. So she's about to have 3 kids, and they are living in the trailer park that Johnny used to live in. Johnny originally lived in the trailer park. He moved out because he got a place with Nina, and now Brandy's moved into Oasis Springs and moved into the trailer park. She doesn't have a lot of money. She got a job at the Solar Flare Lounge, and she's working in the bar. She's also doing a few other things to make money on the side, and she's just generally scraping pennies together from one day to the next, really. And I really hope things get a bit better for her. But her son, Dustin, he really tries to help her out as much as he can. He's always helping around the house. He's always babysitting when she's out working. So he's a real good egg. He's always helping. And sometimes that means he doesn't see his friends as much as he would like. And he gets quite popular around school. He obviously was dating Josephine Landgrab for a while. He did eventually find out about her and Tommy, and so he ends up dating Lilith for a bit. He and Lilith get on really well. After Lilith breaks up with Lilith Pleasant, by the way, Lilith was dating Dirk Dreamer for a while, and then she breaks up with him and starts going out with Tommy, and we'll see that when we get to the Pleasance round. Yeah, and Brandy's just doing the best she can. She's literally penniless, and she's really, really trying her best. Like, she can barely afford her bills from one day to the next, but she manages to keep her family together and happy, so that's the main thing. Then I added in the Pleasants, so Daniel and Mary Sue and their daughters Angela and Lilith, who you will know from The Sims 2. Angela's into cheerleading, cooking, and she likes animals and gardening. Lilith likes playing the drums, she likes playing guitar, she likes playing computer games and things like that. And they don't hate each other at this point. That comes later. As I said, Lilith is dating Dirk, and the whole time Angela's really upset because she's always had a little thing for Dirk for a long time, and she's always been too shy to say something, and then eventually it's too late because he starts dating her sister. So every time she sees them together, and they're quite fond of the PDA, I have to say, she does get quite upset. Until there's a career day at school, and Angela she plucks up the courage to tell Dirk how she feels and tries to kiss him, and he rejects her because he's seen Lilith, and Lilith finds out, and this is basically what causes the rift between the two sisters to open so wide that I don't even know they're going to come back from it, but they both absolutely hate each other at this point, because Angela's like, you don't even treat him well, you don't really like him that much, I would be a much better girlfriend for him, and I've always liked him, and you've taken him off me just to spite me. And Lilith's like, actually I do like him, and all this just teenage drama between the sisters, and Dirk's sort of trapped in the middle. Bless him. But he doesn't let it deter his relationship with Lilith. Mary Sue has been trying for a baby for ages. She wants to have a third kid with Daniel, and they've been trying. She's in her adult years, so she's worried she's going to run out of time, but she does eventually get pregnant, which she is super happy about. Christmas rolls around whilst I'm playing Winterfest, I suppose. Rolls around whilst I'm playing this family, so we have a nice Winterfest, and the girls put aside the differences for the day. They're not friends at all, but they do exchange gifts and try to keep the peace for the day to make their parents happy. And Angela actually does all the cooking for Christmas for this holiday, and her parents are really impressed with her. She's a really, really good cook. Father Winter arrives and gives them some presents, and of course Daniel can't spend a minute away from his mistress, Kaylin Langrek, and so he sneaks out of the house when everyone's in bed and has a midnight Christmas smooch with her. And yeah, he's been having a full-blown affair with Kaylin for years at this point. She used to be their maid, she's now quit being a maid and is trying to pursue an acting career. And she lives in a modest house in Oasis Springs, not that far from the Pleasant family. And Daniel's quite rich and doing quite well in his career, and so is his wife. So he's all funneling a little bit of money to Kaylin to help her out, keep her into the life she has become accustomed with jewellery and things like that. And yeah, she wants him to leave his wife for her, and Daniel, I don't think he's got intentions of doing that. But yeah, Kaylin's like, okay, well, if you're not going to leave your wife, then you better consider this an open relationship, and I'm going to start dating other people. and we'll see what Daniel thinks of that. Lilith goes through a bit of a rebellious phase. She's always turning her music up loud and playing air guitar and just being generally a nuisance around the house, much to her sister's annoyance. She's always asking her to turn it down, and Lilith's like, "And what are you going to do about it if I don't?" These two are just... oh, they're at loggerheads. As I said, Mary Sue does eventually get pregnant after a lot of trying, and Daniel's actually really happy. He wants to have a kid. He really wants a son. Absolutely wants to have a son. He's one of these guys who's like, I must have a son, my heir, even though you've got 2 daughters. But yeah, he's happy. And we also find out Lilith is pregnant. She and Dirk have been sleeping together and obviously have not been taking the right precautions as they are supposed to be doing, and she gets pregnant and she's like, oh shite. She does tell Dirk, who's like, I don't want kids, what the hell, I'm too young, I've got my whole life ahead of me, I don't want to be lumbered with a kid, like, no. And Lilith's like, oh great, thanks for the support. Dirk sends her the most horrible message I've ever seen. Obviously I play with mods, so it's probably as part of a mod, but he texts her, you ashamed at your age, the worry you're putting on your parents, you're too irresponsible to be a parent. Dirk, it takes 2 to tangle for a start, you're equally in the same boat. Lilith, the hot-headed fiery redhead she is, I love her, is like, takes no nonsense, and the next day in the cafeteria in front of everyone, she gives him a right dressing down and has a massive go at him and ditches his ass, and I'm so proud of her. In retaliation, Dirk, knowing that Angela's always liked him, knowing the rift between Angela and Lilith, decides, well, screw you, Lilith, and starts getting a bit nicey with Angela and invites her out and starts doing homework with her at the thrift shop after school, and Angela's been sucked in, but yeah, Dirk's just doing it to piss Lilith off, basically. And we end that round of the Pleasance there. We'll find out what happens later. Will Lilith keep the baby? Will her parents find out? What's Dirk's dad gonna say? Will Angela and Dirk get together? Who knows? And we end the round with Angela getting a little kitten, which is so cute. And then the next household, second to last, is the Dreamers. I didn't take that many screenshots when I played this family for some reason. I don't know why. But so there's not much to really say. I start playing them in this round. They're one of my new families. You already know what's going on with Dirk's life. Darren is dating Katrina Caliente. It's going well. And they're actually expecting a kid. Katrina and Darren are going to have a kid together and they get engaged, which is super nice. They haven't moved in together yet. So I don't know where they're going to live, whether the Dreamers are going to move into the Caliente mansion or if Katrina's going to move out and into the Dreamers house. But Darren's pursuing his dream of becoming an artist and Dirk is being a bit of a douche, basically, especially towards Lilith. And the final household of the rotation is, as I mentioned earlier, Kaylin Langerak, and she's quit being a maid. She's still seeing Daniel Pleasant, and she wants to become a famous actress. And she struts about town, acting like she's much richer and much higher in society than she is. She always looks picture perfect, you know. She's always got her makeup to a T or nails to a T. She always looks immaculate, but actually she's not that rich. Her house is quite small. It's a bit more of a starter home, and Daniel's really funneling a lot of money to help her keep her appearances up, basically. And so she starts to pursue an acting career because she wants to become a famous celebrity. She's very much about what people think of her. And she'll do anything to get to the top, basically, including seducing the director to get promotions, which she does. Good on you, girl, I think. You get there any way you can. And as I said before, she gave Daniel Pleasant an ultimatum. You either leave your wife or, you know, we can't see each other anymore and I'm going to start dating other people. And he doesn't leave his wife, so she starts doing exactly what she said. She's seeing her director, she's seeing Don Lothario. That's about it. That's about where that round ends, really. So much going on. Tons and tons and tons going on. Can't wait to update you at the end of round 5. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was interesting. If you've got any questions about playing rotationally, please drop them down below. I'll try to answer them best I can. I'm not an expert in any means. This is the first time I've done a rotation type gameplay. Please do watch parts 1, 2 and 3 to see how these stories began. And if you've got any thoughts and opinions or suggestions, if you just want to shout in the comments about some of these dirtbags that we've got going on here, let me know. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.